Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is BandanaT, and welcome to yet another Stormgate livecast. I had the pleasure over the last weekend of casting a couple of games for the Wild West Cup, which was an online tournament with 37 people in it, hosted by Jardoza. And yeah, I had the pleasure of casting some games over the weekend, and it was incredible. I casted for 2.5 hours. My voice was very dead after the whole experience, but I casted some wonderful, amazing games, and I want to share a couple of them with you today. So the video that's going to be coming up is going to be a VOD from that stream. So you could have, if you caught that live over on BandanaT.tv, twitch.tv/BandanaT, you will see it there. But if you're not, you can watch this one game here, and that's why I wanted to share it with everyone. Now, the game that we're coming up today, I'll introduce the players in a sec, but really demonstrates why you should never give up, even if you feel like you are terribly down. One of the players makes a miraculous recovery in this game, a very long series, a very exciting series, so let me quickly introduce the players to you. So, our series features two players. First of all, it features Mixu, a very high-level Vanguard player that I personally have been following, and I've played him a couple of times on ladder, and he has fucked me up. He's a very good player, he's competed quite a lot, very well known and very strong player. In the round before this, in this tournament, he had just beaten Theory, a top-level Infernal player, and had an amazing series with them, which I also had the pleasure of casting. And his opponent is Winckel. Winckel is a high-level Infernal player, now in the top 11 in, I think he's 11th place in the current rankings, and is a very, very strong StarCraft 2 player as well, who's appeared in the scene and has now appeared in Stormgate and is doing incredibly well. And I also had the pleasure of casting quite a few of his games over the series. So yeah, that's our two players. And this series heavily features a lot of aggressive play and a lot of involvement with drops, travelling across the map. So that's the little ships full of units that are carried over into your opponent's bases behind the defensive lines, mostly focusing on killing economies. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the RTSs, RTSs are massively based in economies. Economies are all around the amount of money and resources that you can collect. Your workers providing you a certain amount of interest or a certain amount of income per minute, and they're also the crux of it, how you build buildings, how they build defenses, how you build armies, how you research things. Everything comes down to money. So in this game, we look at what we say was one player had a massive economical advantage against the other, and yet, despite that, the other player was able to harass and continue their way going back into the game. With that, you should know everything you need to know before going into this game. If you've enjoyed this, or if you want to see more like this, please make sure you drop a like and drop a subscribe. I'm going to be doing much more of this and having much more opportunities to do so across the time. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will hand you over to the live version of me. Bye! Right, here we go. Going into the start of this new series. Let's get myself in. I need to actually get my names updated. Apologies, I've been organising stuff. So yes, spawning in the top right-hand corner of this map, we have our champion yet again, Mixu, and spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our hero that we watched earlier. We have Winckel. Let's get those ticks off. Bang, bada boom. There you go. That's as good as we're getting, because for some reason my scoreboard is completely dead, and I'm not really sure what's going on with it. Can I try and force it refresh it? No, that's all it's going to do. Cool. Don't really know what's going on with it. Try again. Cool. Now it's just dead completely. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love it when this works. Well, I tried. Anyway, so yeah, Winckel's gone for the single conclave opening. Mixu's gone straight for that expansion. He hasn't even built a barracks or anything. So this is command point first. Dog harassing, blocking this terrain. Now that dog is going to be able to get out. Obviously, Infest does percentage damage based on health. Dogs, 120 health, so Infest does 12 damage overall. So as long as your dog doesn't fall below 12 damage when they get hit with a glaive, you're able to survive anything that goes that way. And he's gone up here and he's taken the little flower and has used that to heal up. There's a little healing flower across on the map. Yeah, Mixu. We've seen Mixu play very impressively the rest of this series so far. Yeah, we've seen that play sort of head across the map. Both players have gone for that second base immediately. We've seen a bit more. Okay, straight to 3 conclaves coming out for Winckel here. Pretty standard. Double Rex play. Both players... We've seen how much Mixu loves Lancers, and I think rightly so. Lancers are in an incredible place right now. Incredibly strong unit. Especially with that biotech upgrade. Makes them incredibly strong against Gaunts, which are, you know, one of the scariest units, obviously, from, you know, the point of view of the Infernals. So he's going to do this again, where he's going to kite them straight to the edge of the range, and then he's going to just poke off the attacks. Like I said, do have a bit of a weird interactions here, because this is a line of sight blocker, but the AI kind of knows they're here and kind of doesn't. So there's a little bit of inconsistency on these guys specifically, but that's just because of the line of sight blockers. 2 Lancers coming across the map. Single scoot, poking around. 2 Fiends picked up. 3 Fiends picked up from that speed camp. Meanwhile, resource camps at the centre of the map are going to be taken by Mixu. We've already got 3 Lancers, 4 Lancers currently out. Oh, sorry, just gotta tab something to the right place. It's all good. Where is it? I've completely lost my tabs. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yep. Brax 3 coming down. There's a large number of Gaunts here. He's only able to take one of the 2 resource camps before having to pull back. He's sniped! I actually don't know who got that. Okay. He ran in to try and take it there, and really, it only matters who gets that final hit on the camp. Whoever gets the final hit on that camp gets the resources. And problem is, I can't see who took that, so I actually don't know who got that final hit there. Mixu trying to come in, trying to be sneaky yet again, getting into the stab. Now, Lancers are very good against Fiends. They're very good. Yeah, you see that sort of AoE. Their attacks actually hit in a straight line. So if 2 Fiends are near each other or on top of each other, they will get hit. Winckel's taken out the trees on the fire round, is immediately taken out to this 3rd base. Trying to get a bit more of an economic head. He's using just a lot of Gaunts. Just a lot of Gaunts. Trying to have Fiends be your front play. He has got that upgrade on the shrines. That's already at the tier 2 shrine. Well, no tier 2 yet from Mixu. It does have that Biolab upgrade already going. So he's going to try and do the same play here. The kinetic redirection is already down here. We can see a couple of the Vanguard units have already got that extra upgrade. 10% additional bonus damage. So for context, they do 10 damage a hit. This is now doing 11. 10% in extra damage. You say that 1 attack, 1 damage is not a huge difference, but 1 attack every hit is big, and especially with how quickly they attack. So there you go, he's able to pick up that line attack. He's dived straight into the mineral line. He's using that kinetic redirection there, and you see he's going to pull that back, that immediately pull back that 1 unit, straight back to the line. He's able to pick off that Shroud Stone is going to fall there. 1 Lancer does fall, but ultimately only 1 Lancer fell in return for about 3 or 4 workers and a Shroud Stone. And there's a problem with it, the Infernals, they can't poke too far forward, because otherwise this happens where Lancers are able to dive on top of Gaunts and just able to pick them off there. There's a large amount of them, he's able to pick it off. That's 1. Is this guy going to get out? Oh, he actually is able to get out! Oh, he's trying to pursue him with the dropship. He wasn't able to do so. He tried to pull this dropship over to the opposite side of the map to see if he could pick it up. Oh, he's actually going to retreat it through these lines, and he is going to lose all of them there. Okay, so that's a large number of Lancers actually picked off. Reasonably held there by Winckel. As these Lancers start streaming across the map. So we've seen this play come out of Winckel quite a lot, out of Mixu quite a lot, where he's just uses this health camp, gets a lot of Lancers, sits them outside of the opponent's base, runs in a couple to try to pick off a Shroud Stone, a couple of Imps, a couple of Gaunts, and try and see what the poke here is. Winckel, on the other hand, is going to try and put some aggressive play of himself. That is an extremely large amount of Gaunts, but that's an extremely large amount of Lancers. Is he going to be able to bring these dropship back? The dropship's already on the way to the opposite side of the map. There's no units here. He can, like, Mixu can see these units aren't here. So here comes the dropship. They come in, one goes down, a couple have been dropped on the low ground, unfortunately, but that's kind of how it is. A lot of the workers have just immediately dropped. Meanwhile, back in this main base, he's able to take off. He was able to take out that main base. Winckel's trying to do the same, but he's got units trapped on the low ground, which is a bit unfortunate. These Imps are going to get picked off by Winckel. Oh, they run through and they're able to kill. That's quite a lot of Imps are going to die. There's no Flaming Imps here right now because there's no Shadow Cleft yet, so there's no way they've got that upgrade. He's going to drop down a couple of Beat Bombs to try and devastate. Meanwhile, the damage is trying to come on the opposite side of the map. But between the Repair-O-Matic here, it's able to heal up all of these units and all of the Bobs healing each other, plus the additional armor coming in from the burst that's coming from the main base, means that, yeah, this attack is going to get completely shut down. He's able to pick up quite a few of his units. I mean, one of his dropships has actually dropped out. Let's try to get that wall again, but the defense is coming in here, and there you go. Got it. Meanwhile, these Lancers are still running amok in the main. They're going to pick off even more of the workers. There's very few workers remaining. I mean, he does have workers down here, and it's not like he can't rebuild. And he's done damage in the main, but he hasn't actually killed the workers. The workers have just migrated to a different base. And the amount of units that are here now, especially with this Buzzsaw Cannon defending it up as well, means that, yeah, this defense is this attack is completely shut down. And on the other hand, Mixu's done so much damage. I think there's literally, what, 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 workers remaining for Winckel in this game. And he's done a good job of trying to counterattack during this pressure. But Mixu's just held it so well. Yeah, just a couple of 2 workers picked off for no losses, which is great. Which is really great. Anything at this point is helpful and useful. Going to try again with a Millwall dropship. This is another group of Gaunts heading across the map. Meanwhile, Mixu's able to take this 4th base now, technically. Third, and this natural one down here. It's kind of on the path that where his Lancers are going over to this health camp. Using these Lancers now to just sort of start taking these resource camps. Each one of those giving 40 Luminite. So he's quite happy to take that. Dropship is going to try and fly into the main. This is the only base right now that actually doesn't have a turret of some kind. So this is the only place you can actually get damage done. Gaunts are going to drop in. He doesn't have the overcharge. It's probably still on cooldown. 1 worker killed. 2 workers killed. The Exos are there trying to do a bit of damage, but the amount of Fiends are just going to be able to start poking that down. So, is he going to be able to do... Actually, he's getting a decent amount of damage there. A couple of Exos picked off. 3 or 4 workers killed. Not a terrible trade there. And he's going to try and just take him out now. The flat cannon is there, so he's going to have to avoid that. But he has managed to get away with it the whole time. Fiends just continuing to be annoying. The one benefit that Winckel's got going for him is he has got 3 shines. By having 3 shines, he's got this extraordinary ability to reproduce his units. So he's got three workers that he can pump out every, 30 seconds. So it's not like he's completely out of here. It's not like this is a guaranteed win right now for Mixu. But it's definitely tilted heavily in his favor right now. Defense going up. He's going to take that health camp down on the bottom. Meanwhile, Mixu just trying to spend his time upgrading right now. You can see he's got this solar habitat. This little beam is increasing the production time on this singular building at the moment. Banger Bay coming out. I suspect we're either going to see Atlases. I'm suspecting this is Atlas and a dropship evac coming out. Another Rax coming out to just continue producing Lancers. Lancers and Exos buyable are just so strong at the moment. They're such a strong unit. Medtech across the back. A little bit of quiet time in the series. And Ooh. Ooh, okay. Here it comes. Now the defenses on the side. We've got one sentry post sitting at this base. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we've got so many shroud stones. Jesus. There's 5 shroud stones up here. Now Lancers kind of shred shroud stones. They're cheap defenses, and it's not like they don't do anything. There's one Lancer picked off. Meanwhile, Doomdrop comes just a bit. That's so many gods! Oh my god! That sentry post is dead. Yeah, that sentry post is dead. And actually, the damage, though, hasn't been extraordinary. It is a large amount of damage, though, coming into this main base. He's only managed to kill 4 or 5 workers. He has been able to pick off the hangar bay there. But the evac ship had already been constructed. Oh, that was such a big shot by the Atlas here. So he is able to start microing this Atlas down. He's able to pick it up, but that's such a big amount. That is actually so good. Winckel coming back into this with not getting out of this series in any way, shape, or form. He's going to use their Sanctuary Teleport to teleport all of his dropships back to his natural. Third base there. Winckel really holding on in this series. He's saying, no, I'm not out. Here's literally 24 gaunts in your base. And he's going to keep himself harassment. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, though, we now have Atlas drops occurring. Now, he hasn't got the upgrade yet that does the damage over time in the little area. That upgrade hasn't come out yet. I don't know if you've noticed the little like production line that they have. I quite like the little like active upgrade stuff that they have. But that damage over time upgrade, increases the amount of damage that they do in an area. Does it damage over time? And yeah, we'll go from there. But once that upgrade comes up, if they hit an imp, that they hit workers, the whole line just dies. And obviously, like it marks off the whole area. So if you manage to get a shot like here, it really just basically locks off that entire minor line for a decent period of time. Alright, Mixu's going to head across the map. A couple of Exos now. Starting to see a higher number of Exos, a higher number of Atlases and Lancers. He's going to start using this to poke around. A large amount of imps is going to pick up. Sorry, a large amount of gaunts is able to pick off on this top side of the map. And he's going to try and push into this main here. And now the units are sort of out of position. Obviously, he's seen those units are attacking on the other side of the map, so he knows they aren't here. And that's what Winckel's using here is massively using his mobility. He's using his mobility provided by the Doombringers. That mine is going to go off. It does get teleported out though. Winckel's establishing these 2 bases down here. I've seen this play really commonly done. So where you have a base down here that mines the Luminite and a base down here that mines the Therium. Single sentry post is going to be constructed. I wonder if this was just queued up commands. One was trying to construct the base and the other was trying to construct the sentry post, and because they couldn't complete the first one, they just skipped straight to the second one. But here we go, this is what we're more used to seeing. Double evac, double Atlas, or triple Atlas, or whatever. You see these little sky mines being dropped by the evacs. Oh, the Shadow Flyers! Okay, so Shadow Flyers, suicidal units do a lot of damage. They can 2-shot an evac. You see that he dropped down. As soon as he saw that, he dropped that shield on it. But that shield's now on cooldown. He doesn't have that anymore. Meanwhile, little attacks coming in here. A lot of flaming imps trying to come to the defense side. A couple of them ran in. A couple of hits, nothing tragic. But that is 5 units down. That's 200. There's 5 imps down. Meanwhile, drop goes on in the main. This game is crazy hard to keep up with. These workers they're just going straight in there. He hasn't seen this or retreated this quite yet, so the units are going to do. A lot of workers are going to die. Actually managed to stay alive. Yep, the Fiends are going to pick off quite a few there. Winckel's stayed in this so hard as more of those mines come in, try and hit the Doombringers. The Doombringers have been slowed down. Exos can stand on top of them. He's going to have to use that Sanctuary ability to get them out again. A couple more Shadow Flyers flying across the map. Just trying to keep that control and stuff around the space. But these Shadow Flyers are really, really desperately looking for those dropships. Obviously, Dropship Atlas is so scary, and Exos, don't get me wrong, Exos shoot down Shadow Flyers like nothing else. Shadow Flyers are relatively cheap. 25 minerals, or 25 Luminite, and then 50 Therium. The Therium is expensive. The Therium investment is expensive. This double base here, or double Therium, is, this is what the Infernals want. They want this delicious amount of stuff. And in they come. Lancers coming into the space. There's no Shroud Stones. Double Atlas here to do some harassment as well. Lancers are going straight into the lines. He does have units here in this dropship. He just isn't using them. These units try to drop down as their focus is to try and get the Atlas out. These Lancers are going to kill almost every single unit here. A couple of Fiends are able to pick off the Exos here on this side of the map. And this is what happens. You get to the later stages of the game gets more chaotic, more stuff starts to happen. We've got a dropship coming up into this base. We've got this army trying to push onto this base over here. So let's see what happens with this dropship. Dropship is currently being pursued by another dropship. This army is trying to push in here. A couple of Gaunts trying to pick it up. They're not able to get, so they get... Oh god, so a lot of units died. Meanwhile, the name, a couple of Gaunts dropping down. They get... Oh god! Oh no! All of it's gone. All of it's gone. Really good defensive play there from Mixu. And this is it. This is what separates your like high level players from your top level players. It's these little things that when you get to the late game, when you get to these end games, the game gets more chaotic, when it gets more busy, that you're able to attack in multiple places and you're able to defend in multiple places. And don't get me wrong, Winckel has shown a massive mastery of being able to constantly be on the attack. I honestly thought he was out of this game ages ago. The fact he's managed to be in this game at such a level is incredibly impressive. But ultimately, the defense's side has been fine, but not as solid as Mixu. Questionable, a couple of units die, just sort of feeds his opponent a bunch of imps, a bunch of fiends. Dragon comes down as well. You're wondering why so many fiends spawned there. It's the combination of infests. So the dragon's attack naturally infests. Gaunt's attacks naturally infest, and if a unit is hit by 2 attacks like that, also the spread that the dragon has, both infests will activate, and both fiends will die, and when the unit dies, both fiends will spawn. So yeah, so you know you can spawn up to 3 or 4 fiends from it. So that's what he's going to do. He's just going to use this sea of fiends. He's just going to throw them in a base. Might as well. You've got them. Doesn't matter. We don't care if they die. And on the other side, he's going to start harassing down using these Hellborns and Dragons and Shadowflies to kind of keep these units down. So, a couple of Fiends start to spread across the map. They go in. This is not great for here. The Fiends are on the Exos. The Exos are able to turn around and finally start firing on it. Meanwhile, this base has been harassed down. We do have a repair bay that's sort of keeping this up, but the Dragon is starting to poke down at these Atlases. And he's infested on it, but no, the attack goes down and both Atlases die. They get picked off. It's 2 Atlases and an evac drop down. This attack is starting to push more in. He does have the army to defend this, but it was just out of position as it was defending against the Ivacasta's he had the army to defend against it, but during this he was his army was out of position. He was just trying to defend against the infest fiends on the top side of the map, and that's a big infest there. Dragon's going to use that to give themselves a massive shield, 150 shield health. Icor and the Nana Hell Fiends, Hellborn that there are on the back here. Each one of these attacks does AoE splashback behind it. Infest comes in, the number of units comes down, the number of Fiends starting to be spawned is increasing because the Dragon does die. That's big. But it cost him so much to be able to do so. Dragon has died, which is huge. Don't get me wrong. Dragon being lost is big. Because Dragon's your air mobility, it's your vision, it's your range. But, yeah, it's obviously providing you the vision for these Hellborns. But is it worth losing pretty much your entire army for? I don't know. I don't know. But Evac's back down. Couple of Atlases are here, so he's going to try and use this to poke around. See what he can do here. He hasn't got any Shadow Flyers. There's not really any threats to the evacs here. Sentinel is here as well, flying around, trying to drop down some stuff. Gets a couple of drops off, and the damage over time is... You see how much damage over time that is doing. He's going to try and use these Exos. Exos are super big at picking off, but Exos really are very vulnerable to Hellborn. And when there's so many Hellborn like this, you really need something in the front to tank for them. And the problem is he doesn't have the capability to produce both Exos and Lancers in the quantities that he needs or wants right now. And yeah, Mixu's getting pushed back here, finally getting pushed back with a lot of it. What a beautiful play coming out of Winckel here. He's really pushed back a game that I would have said was completely outside of his favour. Shadowflyer is going to try and find this base. I don't think he's going to be able to get to it. He flies straight into a mine. He's done a reasonably large amount of damage, but the army is starting to dwindle now. Each Hellborn that dies is you know, a reasonably large amount of units. Oh god, that was a lot of fiends. Sunder Soul coming off the brutes. Sacrificing the brutes can be... Brutes, obviously, when they die, they spawn fiends. But you can force that sacrifice yourself. And he's got the Sunder Soul upgrade, which makes them split into more fiends as well. So he's just doing that to give himself this speed. These fiends are going to come across the other side of the map. They're going to harass that base up in the top, which is really... Like, he's out of minerals in the main base. The natural is also out of luminite. The third base has got luminite, his fourth base is luminite, and his fifth base has luminite. That's the three base economy you're really looking at the moment. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, meanwhile, on the same side of the map, sorry. Okay, he does get the cancel, actually. He didn't lose the entire 350 luminite there. But yeah, Winckel's starting to expand into Mixu's territory. This large layer of fiends. They've managed to kill off that base up top. It's really starting to push back. A couple of Hellborns and Fiends and Gaunts spread decently to try and be as annoying as possible. He is able to push back. He is able to save this net bay. A couple of units die, but the army size is slowly dwindling. Meanwhile, this massive wave of Fiends that killed on this top side still hasn't actually been dealt with. They're continuing to just sort of stream into it here. And this flat cannon will probably be able to defend with repairing. That's a level 3, that is a champion Hornet. That Hornet now has 36 extra health, no, an extra 120 health, and a massively increased amount of attack speed. Look at that attack speed. Look at that attack speed. What a crazy little guy. A couple of units, god, he's even starting to throw up shroud stones in the center of the map, starting to establish a more... Ooh, whoa, what a noise. I've never heard that noise for Hellborn. That, like, crumple noise they made. A couple of fiends managed to run into the main. Just being annoying. Keeping your opponent's attentions all over the place. That dragon does manage to pick it off. That's another Atlas down. Hornet in the air is able to pick off, and that's a GG coming out from Mixu. Well played though, Winckel there. What an incredible set. God damn. Yeah, what an incredible set there. Winckel was so far behind, I think, in the early phases, and yet to come back by constant harassment. He was just constantly down Mixu's throat, and Mixu was defending really well, but while he was using the harassment time, he was able to re-establish his economy, and once the economies were even again, he was able to re-establish an army, and once his army was even, he started getting Hellborns into the mix and started really harassing and pushing it down. Yeah, really incredible play there.